So welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. That's the first thing that I want to say. And you heard my call, I think, via email about tics and stopping tics, managing calming and stopping tics. And this has been a journey that I've been on for many years after living 20 years with a ticking body. And my work these days is supporting those that want to learn how to take better care of mind, body, soul, to support the process of the tics that have got caught up in the system to start unwinding, to start relaxing, to start softening so that the intensity of the urges no longer happens. The presentation that I want to share with you today is beyond coping. And so we're at the stage now where when it comes to tics, there are pharmaceutical options that kind of just numb the system but don't actually get to the root. There's options like CBIT, which might support a little bit with just the mind and trying to think our way out of it. But the path that I've had to go on to really heal a body that's been moving for thousands of times every day was I had to learn to really deeply connect to my body. And so by deeply connecting to the body and activating and stimulating some of the oldest parts of the motor cortex, we find a way to bring equilibrium into the system. So in this presentation, I'm going to share with you 7 ways to help your child heal naturally from tics. And when I say heal naturally, do we know what I mean? Heal, like real healing, not curing, which is like these quick fix wins, like Band-Aids over stuff. Like really healing so that we become free from the condition for good. And naturally meaning that I deeply believe, as I've seen again and again in this life, that there is an intuitive wisdom to the body. There's a deep wisdom to the body. And if a child is living with tics, it's because their environment has shown them that this is the best way to deal with the sensations happening inside of them. If there's sensations or urges or feelings or strong stuff happening inside, then the best way to deal with it is the way they've ended up dealing with it, which is the ticking movement. But nobody showed them another way, because in our society, suppression of emotions is very normalized. So let's move through. So this webinar is for parents of children who tic 7 to 21-ish, okay? If your child is younger than that, it's okay to listen along, absolutely. But usually the programs that I share, if they're a bit too young, it's hard for them to really allow themselves to make progress when they're so young. The greatest work that can be done if your child is younger than this is by yourself, through yourself, as yourself. If you improve and expand and grow and learn about your relationship to your body, you connect to your emotions differently, you communicate what's going on inside you differently, your child will pick that up. That's the best way to support those around us, especially if they're younger. And this webinar is for maybe parents who are slightly disheartened with current approaches or have exhausted traditional methods. Like people often end up coming to me after they've spent years spending tens of thousands of dollars on all the other stuff, and finally they're like, we've got to do something different, we've got to do something we wouldn't usually do, so this is the approach we're going to try. And it's sad that natural and holistic ways are often the last approach for a lot of people. So is this you? Let's just check this. You've tried many things, you've Googled everything, you've spoken to specialists, and still you're watching your child tic, and you don't know how to help them. You might be lying in bed at night wondering, is this the start of something bigger? Will they live like this forever? And other parents don't really get it. You try to explain, but unless you've watched your child tic uncontrollably in public, seen the look in their eyes when they ask, why can't I stop? It's hard for anyone else to understand. Now, the last comment here is a curious one, because some kids are doing it and they're not really aware that they're doing it. Or some kids are doing it and they're aware, but they don't want to talk about it. Some kids are doing the movements and maybe you've been able to have the conversation with them just a little bit, or you've mentioned it, or you don't know how to talk to them about it. And because it feels very difficult to talk about this thing. Am I going to make it worse by talking about it? Are they going to close up if I talk about it? And our ability to communicate with our children at the level of softness they need to be met in love is directly related to our ability to talk to ourselves that softly too. So if you feel as if you can't speak to your child about this thing in love, then you haven't yet met yourself in gentle, loving understanding. And they don't have that role model to meet them at the place of suffering that they're existing in, underneath the surface. A lot of kids will just rise above the tics and just live and everything's fine, la la la, and they'll just ignore it and it just carries on, right? Why are they living above it when actually it's possible to drop into it and be with it in love? So is this you? There are many options out there, medication, food changes, supplements, behavioral therapy. It's exhausting and you're just trying to do the right thing. What is the right thing? And hopefully, as I continue this presentation today, I will give you some really beautiful insights that you can take away on your journey of supporting your child, okay? Somewhere inside, there's that quiet voice asking, did I do something wrong? Could I have prevented this? And I want you to know that voice is not telling you the truth. There's no value in listening to the self-berating voice inside of us. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done this. This is where we're at. What actions are we going to take now to support our children? We can't change the past. We can make decisions now that will affect the future. We can't change the past. There's no point worrying about that. There's no need to. You know, after this journey, living 20 years like this, and then finding peace, all I can say is that there is somewhere along the line, there's deep intelligence inside of all of this that's going on. If only we really listen. If only we really listen. Really listen. Yeah. Okay. Doctors might have told you wait and see, or that there is no cure, but no one's actually showing you a roadmap to help your child. I committed myself to helping people with this 6 years ago on my journey because I didn't have that roadmap, or my parents didn't have that roadmap. When one child is suffering, the whole household feels it, because tics is a very externalized issue. It's not like a disease happening hidden inside the body where nobody gets to see it for years and years and then it comes to the surface. Tics is an environmental condition. It's about the relationship between the person and the people around them, the child and the people around them. It's external, it's sounds, it's movements, it's visually stimulating. And because of that, healing doesn't happen alone. Healing doesn't happen by the self in isolation. It's not about fixing the kid. It's about changing the patterns of the environment so the kid softens. And I'm going to share with you what I mean by that with a little bit more detail as we carry on. Okay. As a parent, I've heard this again so many times, guys. You trade places with them in a heartbeat. You just want them to feel safe in their own skin again. Just for a second, imagine a body. Maybe you've done this already in watching your child or your children, right? A body that isn't just here. Like this body is here now, and it's here still. I can be in my body. I, the energy of my mind, my consciousness, is here in the body. If a child doesn't have that, what's missing in their life? What's missing in their life? as we get into the 7 keys that I'm going to go through. Just a little bit about me briefly. I'm an embodiment coach, nervous system expert, and CBT practitioner. I've been doing this work for 6 years. I've been on the healing journey for much longer than that, and then I lived for 20 years like this with a moving body, all the way down my right side. Many different parts of me ticked, and that kind of evolved over the course of many years as I suppressed and hid different urges that happened inside me. Over the last 6 years, we've had over 3,000 students go through the programs, both the adult program and the parents program. And I've worked with literally hundreds now, 200, 300 of clients on Zoom from all over the world with tics and Tourette's at different ages and also different severities. Some with multiple different types of tics in different parts of the body, and some with just singular chronic one part of the body moving. And with so much beautiful success, not 100% rate success, because it takes shifting behaviors and patterns to change this condition. And ultimately, that's dependent on the person doing the practices, whether they can do it, or the parents to create structure to support the child to keep doing the practices. Okay. So, let's get into the juice. 7 ways to help your child heal naturally from tics. So when we calm this system, the tics calm too. What do I mean by the system? I'm talking about the nervous system. Most kids today, especially if they're living with something like OCD, ADHD, anxiety, motor tics, vocal tics, or Tourette's, the nervous system, their nervous system, is chronically dysregulated. They haven't found a way to know what it means to move between states of sympathetic or parasympathetic. So the nervous system has 2 states, simplified, 2 states. The state where we're going, we're rushing, we're moving forward, we're doing, we're heightened, we're ready to go. Most of our society is built in sympathetic state, chronically, go do, that's our world. Most kids haven't learned to find downtime into the parasympathetic state, to find a way to rest, to recharge, to be with a mind that is just free-flowing in creativity, no distractions, so they can just be bored in the emptiness of now. Most parents don't have time for this either. I'm sure you can relate to that. Go. And most of us don't even have an understanding or a seeing, an inner awareness of when our nervous system is in a particular state or another state. We might notice that we're breathing a bit shallower, or our breath is a little bit faster, or our heartbeat is a little bit faster. But most people have normalized these heightened states of our nervous system and forgotten what it's like to be just fully. So the lesson here is our kids don't need to be fixed. Our kids just need to feel safe. So when you're looking at your child this week, I want you to have a go at looking at them. Instead of looking at them going, well, what can I do? What can I do? What do I need to do? That's our world. Do. No. In this moment, how could I make them feel even safer? Shift of thinking as the guardian of their space that they exist in. How can I help them feel safer? Maybe that means, in this moment, bringing them a drink that helps them feel like nice and soothed. Switching off the loud chattering news anchor in the background of the living room, which is just fear, 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 and nobody can feel safe whilst listening to the news. Maybe it's, taking your child out for a walk in the park. It's not about fixing them. It's a shift here. We're not trying to fix anything. Like, a kid that's ticking is a kid that's learned these behaviors because they haven't been shown how to be with more spaciousness and sensitivity, which is really what they're seeking. So here I've shared simple techniques around just what does it mean to speak slower, to create a deeper, gentler, loving presence, so that a child's energy body softens into themselves, right? Oh, just lost the screen. Just checking if anybody else was waiting. So this isn't about where have you gone? Where's the screen gone? Share here, share, good. And then play. So this isn't about you being therapists for your children. It's just about you. What does it mean to be more calm in myself, more grounded in myself, more present in myself as an adult? And these skills are relevant for all aspects of life, the boardroom, right? For connection to your partner, for when you're out and about with your friends. Have you put time aside to learn what it means to discover an even calmer, grounded presence when you're in the moments where life is being thrown at you? Because this stuff matters for a child that's ticking. This, for you, as a parent, this matters for you, so that they can do this more in more moments. And more moments where they can do this means more moments where the energy, the urge behind the tic, has an opportunity to dissolve, as opposed to continue playing out the same patterns. Okay. Healing happens through the body, number 2, not just the brain. In fact, even that sentence there is a misnomer, because not just the brain. To me, the brain doesn't do healing. The body does healing. The body is where the trauma is stored. The body is where the tightness is stored. The body is what tells the brain if it's feeling safe or not. The neurons in the stomach and the neurons in the heart are like brains that are existing in other parts of the body, which sometimes we don't really think about, and yet are as important. So the healing towards this condition, in my approach, is all about body first, not about being clever and thinking our way out of it. And yes, there is art in the way we talk about and communicate things, but it's about the body, movement practices, gentle movements, body awareness, somatic exercises, which help reduce the tension stored, right, and the emotions that got stuck. Every tic, if it's playing on repeat, every tic is like an energy that's got stuck inside the body, an emotion that's got stuck inside the body. And our goal is to create space so that stuck emotion inside the body can finally dissipate out, so the repeated cycles of the ticking no longer needs to happen. That's my approach. And that's what's worked for me. After trying dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of healing modalities over like years and years, that is how simplified I've been able to get it. My explanation for you guys. So the practices I teach, they're not intense workouts. They're simple practices that just need to be done regularly. Right? Primitive integration exercises which stimulate the oldest parts of the brain where the brain connects to the body. And somatic practices to become aware of the body so that the body can feel safe in heightened moments of stress. And help kids just feel more connected to themselves. That's it. We want our children to feel more connected to their body, right? And with a child that's ticking, it's often difficult. because their body's moving. In a sense, they're like hypersensitive, and we want to normalize the sensitivity. Instead of it being like hyper-focused on one part, we're trying to soften into the body. Make sense? So we're trying to soften down and into the body instead of tight, spike, spike, tick, right? We're learning to soften down. Okay. And as you can see, I'm trying to communicate not just through words, but through my body. Because really, like, communication happens beyond words. There's so much more going on between us all the time, between you and your children. Okay, number 3. Your calm helps create theirs. Children absorb the nervous system state of the adults around them, and I've hinted at this already. I lived for 7 years in London during my 20s. And when I was 29, I was playing football and I ended up tearing my right knee joint, my ACL. At the same time, I was wearing a wrist support because I was using the computer so much. If somebody asked me if I was stressed, I would have said no. I was so far away from my awareness of the stress in my system. And when I look out in the world today, I don't think that story is rare. So many of us are living with layers of stress in our body. And if we have a child that's ticking, it's a clear red flag that something around them in their environment is or is not creating an opportunity for them to totally drop into themselves. And so there's probably default layers of stress that are existing around them. It might not be one parent or both parents, or maybe it's school, maybe it's teachers, other caregivers. Like, it's not about pointing fingers, but it's about highlighting the importance of their environment as opposed to it's their problem. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, we're all learning from each other all the time unconsciously. Okay? So naturally, if you're stressed, they're more likely to tick. If you're calm, grounded presence, gives their system permission to soften. And in the MTM family method, which you might have already read about in previous emails, parents aren't just supporters, they're part of the healing process, right? It's a team effort. And we all go on this journey together. Okay. Less noise, more safety, more calm. So naturally, screens, lights, social overload, noisy environments, these all spike tics. And when I say spike tics, it increases a nervous system which isn't stable, right? And so no screens an hour before bed is fundamental in supporting children with tics. It feels really important. Finding time outside in nature regularly feels really important, so they have opportunity to soften. Having moments to talk about emotions, not just what our children did today at school, but give me one moment today where you felt really good in your body. Give me a moment today where a friend said something and it maybe made you feel a little uncomfortable. Right? How do we bring about conversations in the emotional feeling space as opposed to the doing space? This brings bodily awareness for our children. So you don't need to live in silence, just become aware of your child's thresholds. So there's a balance to play here between monitoring your child, watching them, making sure they're okay, and trying to notice and figure out where the tics are happening and why they're happening more and why they might not be happening more. Right? Most parents have done this or do this, right? I've got to figure it out. But that figuring out projection, is being felt. Like, we all know when somebody walks into a room, there's a presence that arrives. When somebody's like really stressed, like you can feel the stress in the room appear like inside yourself when somebody's stressed walks into a room. Or if somebody walks into a room and they're just so calm and present and still, and they look around and, wow, okay, that guy's got something, that woman's got something. Okay. The same goes between you and your children all the time. Your inner state is affecting them all the time. So if you see them ticking and you're worrying, is your worry helping them? And so you have the opportunity of exploring your own emotional body and moving beyond the worry, and moving beyond the emotions, because your child needs a parent that knows how to move beyond emotions, because they're not doing it right now. If they have a ticking body, they've got stuff stuck in them and they want to learn to soften. Okay. Creating a calm cocoon at home. What does that mean? What's a calm cocoon? So where in your home is there a place, or are there places where there's no distractions, there's no screen time, there's just gentle, loving stillness that can happen? Our kids need this more than ever because they don't get it out at school, they don't get it out and about on our streets, and even at home when the TV's on all the time, or when everyone's on TikTok these days, it's like, how do we create moments like this? And what you're noticing is I'm pointing to not spaces where you got to go and do. It might be that you arrived at this webinar thinking, oh, I'm going to learn something clever that I can go and do. It's about creating this space to allow the healing to happen, right? Because there's that wisdom within, and a child that's so smart and so bright, their system knows how to unravel itself and come back into balance if only it's given the space to do so. So in the MTM family method, I help you read your child and notice the emotional signals in your child at another level deeper. Because we can only meet our children at the depth that we've met ourselves, our own inner child, right? So we can only meet them at the depth we've met our own inner child. And so part of the journey is for our children. And the other part of the journey is, what am I going to learn about myself as I do this too as a parent? Breath is the bridge to healing. So breath is life. Life is breath. Breath from a material perspective is just oxygen and going into the lungs and leaving again as carbon dioxide. That's what we were taught at school. But breath from the perspective of life, as opposed to Newtonian science, is energy. Every time we breathe, we're bringing in energy, transmuting, releasing energy. And breath is how we create space inside of us to become healthy and whole. It's what we talk about, holistic health, holistic whole. Okay? And so there's many tools, and I do teach some of these tools in the MTM family method, but there's playful, gentle ways for younger children to connect to their body. I invite you right now, just for 30 seconds with me, if you'd like to, no pressure or expectation, but if you'd like to, with permission, if you'd like to join me, put your hand on your belly and just notice a deep breath going deep down into your lungs and into your belly. I want you to imagine that the energy, the breath, the oxygen is going all the way in your lungs and then down into your belly, not just your lungs. And it's so great that as soon as you take a deep breath, you start yawning. It's like, this is the beauty of the body knowing what it needs to do. Oh, I can connect to the body. I'm resting for a moment. Now, most of us breathe naturally very shallowly, like very shallowy. That's a word I just made up. Quite shallow. And so gently practicing things like belly breath to bring the energy down, grounded into the body, is one of the simplest, most powerful practices that any family can do together. It's not anymore. It's not weird spiritual stuff. It's not what just the hippies do in circles on islands. It's fundamental for health now in a world which is seemingly very confusing, in disarray, falling apart, a lot of fear, and our children are suffering for it. So this belly breath, you can release your hand from your belly if you'd like, but this belly breath is free. It's simple. But just knowing it is fundamentally different than actually doing it regularly. So we change ourselves and those around us by changing our habits, bit by bit, step by step. All right, bit by bit, step by step. And that's what the MTM family method, which I'll share a little bit more about in a minute, is all about. It's just, what are these little tools that we can drop into our life and do regularly and keep coming back to nudge the direction of the health of our family in the right direction, in a healthier way. Because if we don't make these little changes, we'll just keep going down the same path of the stress and the anxiety and the tics more and more, and maybe your child will get better at suppressing it and hiding it, but that isn't going to lead to anything good in their adulthood. And I will vouch for that. So giving them the tools to open up, to breathe, to share more, to communicate well, so important. Okay. Number 6. Every tic has a story. I think I've already mentioned this already. Children often tic when there's some emotion that's been unpressed or unspoken. And it might be that they can't articulate it through their brain, what it is, right? Which is why the movement practices and the somatic practices that we do, breath being the simplest and the most basic expression of what I'm talking about here, right? Help us get to the unprocessed emotions under the surface so they find a way to be processed, experienced, moved, shaken out, cried out, stretched out, however it is, so that the energy can dissolve and then the tics soften. So I think you're all dropping into what I'm trying to share, is that behind every tic, there's just emotional energy. And we do different things to help allow the pockets to be released so they dissipate. So it's very natural for parents to want to be helping and supporting their child. If there's something wrong, we go and fix them. If there's something wrong, we go and help them. If there's something wrong, we go and do something for them. We want to protect them from bad feelings. because that's how our parents parented us. We want to protect them from bad feelings. Oh no, don't worry about that. Oh no, it's okay. But by doing this, if you can relate to this, by doing this, we're not actually helping them validate that it's okay to feel uncomfortable things. Because it is okay to feel uncomfortable things. It's okay to feel shame. Oh, it's okay to feel fear. Oh. Then it goes. Once we actually allow ourselves to feel it, then it goes. I didn't realize that for a long time. I just suppressed it, pushed it down on my body tic for 20 years. And then I learned that, oh, I'm allowed to feel it. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like feeling it. I don't like feeling it. Oh, it's okay. So this is emotional mastery, and it's not taught in our schools, and it hasn't been taught by our parents. But it's essential, especially for a child that's showing signs of a ticking body. Okay? So in the MTM family method, we explore this, and I give you ways to explore what it means to talk about emotions. And by even going through the videos of the MTM family method, you watching the video together with your child gives you space to talk about things that you wouldn't necessarily normally talk about, which creates more room for healing and for natural dissolving of the condition. Even that is powerful, then alongside the movement practices. The MTM family method 2, which I'll talk about more in a minute, but it's about, we create new language to talk about parts of the body and parts of the sensations within, so that our child doesn't have to just hide it or push it down or suppress it anymore. Okay. And again, this is kids with tics. It's the positive is that it's external. It can be seen. It's not something that's right. There's a clear signal that something's going on here. Okay. How can we support? And it's a complex condition in the sense that it's about the body, and it's about the mind, and it's about the emotions. It's not like it's a one-pronged approach, like some conditions out there. It's the body and the mind and the emotions all intertwined and got stuck together. And we want to create space so that they can be seen by the little one. Okay. So, every tic has a story. And number 7, movement heals. So, just something as simple as shaking the body, standing and shaking the body, is itself, just for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, is itself something you can do with your child today, tomorrow, to begin the process of allowing them to become aware of what they're noticing inside the body. And you can do it with them. Now, usually when kids suddenly start feeling lots of energy when they start shaking, they get hyper excited and they start going crazy. Wah, 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 wah. Right? And suddenly they're activated and they're alive and they're running around. But the game here is, how can we activate and help them become aware of the body whilst keeping them present? Okay? And if we can do that, if we can help a child be present with a body that's now activated and they're aware and they're connecting and they're seeing and they're noticing, instead of jumping out in a million directions, how do we keep them here? And then that helps them learn it's okay to sense the body. And there's different practices that I share in the program to support that process. But as a starting point, I want to share something here with you today. Just shaking is already a huge step. getting them comfortable, feeling the sensations in the body whilst being present with mom or dad. Okay. And I'll tell you what, if you do this as parents, you do this, you'll notice your body too, and you're like, oh my God, wow, I haven't felt this in ages. Wow. Because usually most of us are walking around disembodied, just thinking in our society. So, movement is the natural way to process energy, emotions. Tics are involuntary movements, but if we help the body express consciously, shaking, dancing, drawing, vocalizing, not mindy stuff, feely stuff, it stops needing to do so unconsciously. Okay? So, I'm just going to read out a few testimonials from the program, the MTM family method. My son, 14, is transformed because of his work with Darren. After his first cycle of sessions, he no longer tics like he did before. Instead, he pauses, breathes, and works to be present in his body. Now, this approach works for slightly older kids, but there's different approaches for different ages and different tools for different ages in the program. And the way that I work is either just the video-only program online or the video program with one-on-one sessions with me as well. It's remarkable to see the change in him. He has learned to relax his body. I'll be forever grateful. The most significant improvement came from the release and breathing. That's just one of the many tools that I offer. Because some kids are receptive to some things and other kids are receptive to other things. It's never possible to know that this way will work for this kid at this age with this severity of tics all the time. So I teach a range of stuff, and some of them land. Some of them you'll ignore. Right? He does it each time he notices a tic, but in a more subtle way. No more tics, it feels like a miracle. Thank you, our little boy is no longer crying from the pain in his neck, from his tic. Thank you so much, Catherine. His tics have been largely controlled, almost no head shaking, no arm twisting, but still light vocal tic from breathing. We are very happy with the result. That's Kevin with his boy. I think it was a younger boy, maybe 8 or 9. I can't remember how old his boy was, who went through the MTM family method. Thank you very much for your videos. I encourage you to continue sharing your experience with thousands more patients who, like me, will appreciate what you offer. And Sharon, this is probably the most generous and heartfelt, sensible course I've ever seen, because it's come from my heart and my own suffering. It's come from my own pain that I've had to transmute, my own suffering that I've been through. So that is why it lands in love for people that go through the program. And this one's from Isla, who's a little girl that went through the program. I feel so relaxed with your voice. Which is very sweet, because the transmission that I have isn't just about the words I'm speaking, it's about the resonance of the calmness that I've had to create in my body, which is what kids get to pick up when they watch my videos. Oh, this is what a regulated, calm, balanced nervous system feels like. I don't have many of those people around me in my life. Oh, this is helping me heal. This is so important. If we don't have role models on TV, we don't have role models as our teachers, rarely, when it comes to calm nervous systems. And if we're working 9 to 5 every day and we're in an office every day, do we have that for our children? Sometimes we might do. It's difficult to get there, but it's possible. Okay. And Abdul was like, hello, Daz, I've officially cured my tics, so thank you for your help. My tics, so thank you for your help. Thank you, Abdul. Abdul was a little older. He was in his 20s. So actually he went through the adult program, not the parents program, which supported him. So I just want to, in the last 7 minutes that we have here, I have 2 invitations for you. And so you can have a feel into what might be the best approach if you would like to go further or not. No expectation, no pressure, but I want to give you the options so you can make your decision if you'd like to, okay? So the MTM family method is the sum of my whole journey that I've been through, and has now helped thousands of parents go through their journey too, in supporting both their own inner child and their little one. And these are the 6 units in the program. We learn to integrate the nervous system, break out of our chronic, stuck, heightened, overwhelmed nervous system state. And we do that through a range of practices. We want to switch on the parasympathetic. Alongside that, which is the other most important aspect of the work that I do, is integrating retained primitive reflexes. And retained primitive reflexes are the first initial movements that happen when a baby is born. And in the earliest part of the motor cortex, there's kind of stored movements which help a baby roll over, suckle, move their head, core big muscle movements for survival, which are stored in the reptilian part of our brain. And because kids these days are brought up very differently than rolling around on the floor, and we're very domesticated and there's less playtime, kids don't necessarily always integrate this older part of the motor cortex into the higher order functions of the brain. And science tells us that for kids that have tics or Tourette's, the long, let's say like the motorways in the brain from the motor cortex to the higher order functions of the brain, they're not as strong as kids without tics or Tourette's. And so we have to strengthen the relationship between the oldest part of the brain and the other parts of the brain. Which, another way of describing what I'm saying is improve the relationship between the brain and the body. Okay? Improve the relationship between the brain and the body. And we do that with very certain movement exercises, quite animalistic movement exercises, which focus on the big muscle groups and the spine. So it's a big part of the program, the MTM Family Method. And as well as emotional awareness, somatic movement exercises, there is work we can do in supporting the gut to be working less hard. So there's diet stuff and supplements that you can be taking. And there's videos just for parents too. So if you're finding value in the way that I'm speaking and sharing here, that's helping you see differently, right, your relationship to mind, body, and emotions, then there are videos that will support you on this process to help your child as well. Okay. So really, it's the only that I've come across online, fully comprehensive, non-invasive, meaning there's no drugs or anything like this, follow along at home, natural healing program for tics and Tourette's online. This is the most comprehensive program I've found and that I offer, designed by somebody who's been through it. It's 10 modules in total. It was designed to be done in 10 weeks, although most families that go through the program take longer than 10 weeks because there's a lot of content to get through and life is still happening. And so usually it takes longer to go through the full program. And also some families go through a couple of months, then they have a break. They've seen a difference, they have a break for a while, then they might come back 6 months later to continue it and continue deepening the healing process. Like every child is different, every family situation is different. And it's designed in a way for you to jump in and jump out if you need to. Although there is a linear journey to go through, you can take your time through it. Okay. And it's designed for kids between the ages of 7, 21. If your kid is older than 21, 22, 23 plus, then it might be that the adult program, the MTM method, the adult version of the program is a better one to go through. Okay, and it fits any lifestyle. And in the email that I'm going to send you after this presentation, you'll have a link in that email to sign up, okay? Actually, what I'll do right now is I'll just post that in the chat group so you can also click it there too. Share. So that's the MTM Family Method, and there's 3 tiers available, right? There's the video only tier. There's the second tier, which is the video only plus the parent circle access. and then the third tier, which is actually the second tier is gone or going very soon. The third tier is sessions with me. Okay. Parents circle. So something I hear again and again. So this is the second offering and invitation I want to share with you in the last couple of minutes here. Sometimes our kids aren't ready to go through this program. Maybe you haven't talked to them about it yet. You don't want to bring attention to it yet. Maybe they're just like, it's not an issue for them and you don't know how to talk to them about it yet. Maybe they're showing signs of tics, but it keeps going away and you're not sure when the best time to approach is. Right. Sometimes parents want to help their child, but they don't know how to talk to them about it. Or they're worried about making it worse. Okay. And so that's what this parent circle's for. For parents that know they want to start doing and exploring their own inner relationship to their inner child, that want to reduce their stress levels or start exploring what anxiety is in their life, or maybe want to learn some deeper communication skills and emotional awareness so that you can bring that back into the family. That's what this space is for. We meet every 2 weeks, and it's starting this weekend. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and that's what this invitation is for. If you want to come together as a small group of parents, and I'm going to be sharing with you just lots of mini takeaways and perspectives to go deeper than what we've gone in today in just this webinar, so that you can bring it back into your family. Okay, and start leading. I heard this quote recently. It was, kids don't do as you say, they do as you do. So you can tell them to do this or do that, but they're going to be as you are, right? As you show up, they'll be as that. And maybe with a slight variation of it, but mostly as that. Okay. And so how do you change your beingness as a parent? How do you learn and grow yourself bit by bit? It's not like it has to be this big, overwhelming thing that must be complete next week. No, it's we're all growing in life. We're all learning. We're all picking things up. This is life. And so this is a great space that you just keep nudging ourselves forward. Okay. So I'll put the link below as well. And you are available. I'll put the link in here. So you're invited and very welcome to join that too. So I've been talking a lot for a whole hour. We're on the hour mark. Now, if you guys have any questions, you're so welcome to drop them in the comments box right now. Is there anything that I missed? Anything that you want me to focus on a little bit more? I've got another 5 to 10 minutes to answer any quick questions if you would like to ask them. Otherwise, you're also very welcome to close up, and I'm just going to wait for a few seconds just to see if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, we'll close up. So I'll send an email out to everybody in the next hour or so. And the links will be in there to join the parent circle if you'd like to join the parent circle, or the MTM family method. Yeah, whether it's the tic rotating or the tic moving, or sorry, if the body wanting to rotate. Tics and OCD are so intertwined, right? They're the same thing, but it's just tighter. With tics, it just feels a little bit tighter, but the approach is the same. It's the unraveling, it's the connecting to the body, it's becoming aware of improving the connection between mind and body, right? Instead of just the body doing something. Okay, there's more space between the mind and the body. And yeah, most kids have different tics. Yeah, it's normal. It's one tick, maybe one after another. Or 1 hour it's this tick, the next day it's this tick. Yeah, it's very normal to have different expressions of the tics. Yes. Or twitches. Well, there's different words that people use too. Tics or twitches. urges. Yeah, Yara, you asked, do you know what the causes for tics or Tourette's are? It's, as I've shared today, it's not one thing. The best way that I've tried to describe it today is to say that there's some emotion that's got stuck in the system that isn't finding its way, and it's not moving through the energy channels of the body, and it's getting stuck and playing out a pattern of the body. And the place where that energy, that emotion gets stuck in the system is in the motor cortex area of the brain, you could say, and its relationship to that part of the body. And so it's like that neurology, that circuitry, it's like having to drive down, like a lot of traffic, having to drive down back streets instead of freeways or motorways. And it's getting stuck. And then the expression of the stuckness has to come out through a movement or a sound, right? And so we find ways to strengthen that. Okay. Soul, it depends on the situation, depends what you're working on, depends what kind of work you're doing with your behavioral psychologist. My experience is that it needs to be more embodied work, more somatic work to heal this condition, not just behavior and psyche stuff. So you're welcome to drop me an email if you'd like with a little bit more information about what you're doing with your behavioral psychologist, and I can share with you my opinion on your situation if you'd like. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. So 6 minutes over. Thank you for staying around for those last few minutes, everybody. I am wishing you a beautiful day or night. I think some of you it's quite late. So thank you for staying up and watching and being here today in this energy. If you have any further questions, you're very welcome to hit reply to the email that I will send out in the next hour or two. And I'll do my best to answer your questions. And yeah, I'd love to see you in the parent circle if you'd like to go deeper together. And the MTM family method is available and online, and you're welcome to join the video program too. Have a beautiful day. And I will now go and make myself a morning cup of tea. Okay, thanks for being here. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye.